What's up, TIW Mafia? JP here. We got Joe with us. He's off to the side, and we have our first in studio guest, Mr. UFO Wrestling, Tidal Wave, Pat Dillon.
That's funny. That's classic, huh?
What's going on, Pat?
Not much, JP. Joe, how you guys doing?
It's been a long time.
Going good.
Okay.
Now, you had a show. I'm still masked up. I'll probably take my mask off in a few minutes. But
I'm wearing mine.
you had a show not too long ago in South Boston, Southie. You had an incident at the show.
There was an incident at the show, yes.
You've been so many shows having ace security, by the way. And the one show that I'm not at to help you out with security, you have an incident.
Yes, that's correct.
I wouldn't call him a fan, but you had somebody get in the ring with that loud mouth.
Yes.
And one of the wrestlers got knocked out.
Yes.
Um,
Absolutely.
So, for people who don't know, you had Hurricane Peter McNeely, who years ago got knocked out by Mike Tyson, famously,
Yes.
in under 20 seconds. Or
I still think
something
the
like
punch missed him. And it was the wind.
that. Yeah,
90 seconds.
90
Got it
seconds.
right.
Is that what it was?
Yes, because remember he made the commercial with
Oh,
Pizza
that's
Hut,
right. Yes.
90 minutes,
And
pizza,
then-
whatever.
yeah.
The Scally Cap,
So-
Vinny Vicione.
He got in there, and for some reason, Bo Douglas took exception to him being there.
Yes.
And Bo said something and called us that hurricane. It's more like a tropical storm.
Ooh.
And Peter understandably got upset.
I mean, wouldn't you if your nickname was Hurricane and somebody said to you,
I
it's
mean,
more like a tropical storm?
yeah, no.
Like,
I mean,
You-
tropical storms are deadly in their own right.
And that Peter was. Peter threw a right and knocked Bo down pretty quick.
I mean, if you
And
go,
this is pro wrestling, but Peter's not a pro wrestler.
no, he's a
Peter's
professional,
a professional boxer,
Yes.
right? Registered deadly weapons, I think.
Yeah,
or they
absolutely.
used to be.
That's what they're called. Registered
So-
deadly weapons. Yes.
Now, is Peter invited back to other UFO shows?
100%. He is absolutely.
Is Bo welcome back to other UFO shows?
Yes. I mean, Bo is one half of my tag team champ.
This is true.
So,
And Bo's been someone that's been with you.
since day
You know,
one.
you guys have been everything from business partners and other ventures to,
Yes.
friends and everything else in between.
there was a point where we trained together
Yeah.
back
Oh, man.
in the late 90s.
You're going back to the Tidal Wave days.
No. No, that was that. See, now there's where I'm glad you said tidal wave and not tsunami or something, because we could have just had an incident like Peter McNeely and Bo Douglas in the studio.
It
Not
would
enough room in here.
have ended differently.
All right,
Of course
dumb
it-
wrestle.
But yes, I mean, Bo and I go back, late 90s, training at Kowalski's.
So, yeah, when you
Yeah.
trained with Walter Kowalski, and I don't know if a lot of people realize that Pat Dillon, UFO promoter, because it had been so long from your training to the point where UFO started.
Yeah, a long time.
Like Bo remembered you, obviously, and a lot of
Yeah.
those guys remembered you. And you got back into it and you started UFO, and I mean, other promoters are wearing UFO shirts in their Christmas pictures and stuff like that.
I
So
know. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate the plug. Much appreciated. I hope your mother's birthday was good.
Oh, that's what it was.
Yes.
Um,
Good friend Chris Sullivan, Lucky
Yes.
Pro Wrestling. Man.
That's it, Lucky
He's been
13.
around since day one himself.
yeah. Chris
You know?
I've been around Chris a lot,
Yeah.
good and bad. And
Chris was at ringside taking photos at day
Yes.
one, the debut show.
the shirt,
Absolutely.
and that was probably the shirt he had on that had all the, like, you guys actually put all the wrestlers' names on the shirt
Yeah,
back then.
yeah, we did.
No,
our
that
debut.
was 13, 14 years ago?
August 2008. We're coming up on 13 years.
That's
Yeah,
It's a long
and
time.
for a funzy onesie, you're still around.
yeah. You know, I mean, we
For
don't.
people who don't know, like, every time a wrestling promotion starts up, all the other promoters that have been around, whether they are still or not, you gotta pay your dues and prove that you're not just a one-time deal. And I
Of
think
course.
UFO's done that.
Yeah.
Now, the last show with Peter and Bo, that was in December, right? Or
Yeah, that was
November?
December 18th, the week before Christmas.
Okay.
Yes.
And now you got February vacation, which you
Now he's got a phone call.
you're sort of known for like your school vacation shows, and I was surprised to see that this one's the Friday.
Friday night.
Yeah, because you usually did the Wednesdays or the Thursdays during the school vacation week.
And that's what I've known UFO throughout over the years. Granted, I haven't made a show, but nonetheless, it's always been family friendly, kid oriented.
Yeah.
I just got a random question that's irrelevant to wrestling. I don't know if I should ask it or not.
As long as it has no curse words, we're all good.
Are you related to a teacher at an elementary school in South Boston?
Me?
Yes.
I was.
Okay.
She moved away.
All right. So then the answer is no. Okay.
We got people in the chat. I see Bobby D, who's leaving for Bible study soon.
Bryce, yes, he's leaving. Bobby D's leaving.
Bible study on a Tuesday night.
And Joey Salenza saying, congrats on the success.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's in. Bobby says he's working on his UFO shirt. LOL.
We gotta get some
That's-
more Irish whip shirts out there.
Yes. They're out there.
I got one with the
Teespring.com.
old
Yeah,
logo.
You have a one of one hoodie.
I got a one-on-one hoodie.
I have a hoodie too, but it was a different run.
Yeah,
You have a one of one. You were the only person
Wow.
who ordered that hoodie.
I feel privileged, and I got the T-shirt to go with it.
That's it. The T-shirt I have. But you were the only one that ordered that hoodie off of. That was a say we. I mean, we're still on there, but I don't.
Yeah,
even
that
know
was
what it
that
was.
Company in the UK or something.
Oh,
wasn't
that
it?
was Smart Mark. Was that Smart Mark?
I don't think
That
so.
might have been.
Yeah.
It wasn't. No, not like Smart Mark. Like Smart Mark Video. It was Smart Mark something else. And it
Okay.
was funny. It was like us in Shug D. He used to be the basketball player in Chicago, and now he's around again.
Yeah.
And that was about it on the site.
Now I got a question for you, Pat.
Yeah.
Speaking of wrestling, putting
Okay.
a show together. Can you break it down for me? What is the key things you need to fall into place to put a show together? I mean, like, yeah, everyone knows you got to get workers, you got to get a ring, you got to get on the. But what is it like? What's that make or break moment that tells you the show is going to go off and it's going to be a success?
Wow.
I've sat with Pat on show days many times.
I didn't mean to ask a professional sounding question.
No, that's a good question. I really don't have an answer. Like this past show,
That was a fundraiser.
it was a fundraiser. Usually those shows like that, you can pretty much say it's going to be a good show because you get your own freedom to do what you want. It's not like I have to book according to budget or I have to book according to area. Like, say, for instance, I'm in South Boston. It's a fundraiser show. I didn't have to book the Castle Island Assassin.
He's expensive, I heard.
Yes, being in South Boston, his hometown, he lives up the street.
Uh,
It would have been a great addition to have him to the show.
Is it true? I heard he has like a secret lair under Sully's.
I believe there is something that connects him to from the castle right to Sully's.
Okay.
Somebody said they can answer what makes your shows a success. And Jennifer Nora said it's the people you have working for you.
Oh, listen, I 100% agree with that, and I can never thank that woman enough.
I mean, we got Jennifer there. Like Jennifer's a good mutual friend. We got Bobby D here. We got Tina Weber, and we got some of the people that work for you right here.
Wow, yeah.
Blackheart's in the house.
Oh, Blackheart can leave. He's a pain.
Listen, I can't say.
Yeah, Jennifer does a lot for your
I
shows.
can't thank her enough. I mean,
Me neither.
she's at the position. You know, I mean, who's going to get away with throwing a cake in someone's face
On your birthday.
on my birthday? You know, I mean, who's going to get away with that?
That's
Exactly.
I'd
She's
like-
probably the only one.
I'd like someone to do that to me.
You know, she's the only one. I mean, I can't. And she was a huge help at this last show. I mean, I thought everything was out of my hands because it was a fundraiser, but it got thrown back in my face, and she stepped up for me once again for about the 100th time. You know.
yeah,
And then
no, she's
some.
a good solid person. Like
Yeah.
Jennifer, I have
So,
you know.
Well,
Right.
and that leads me to another question off of my first one. most people see a wrestling show and think it's make it or break it based on the talent in the ring. A lot of the show is made because of people on the outside of the ring, behind the scenes.
No, of course, absolutely. I mean,
the heart and soul.
that's it. You gotta, do the promoting, the advertising, the setups, the configurations. There's all kinds of things you got to do besides just putting the show together.
Oh yeah.
And then that plays a huge role in it. But yeah, you just got to think that this show's going to be good, and that's what it comes down to.
Right, and your talent. You don't run a whole lot of places. You run Malden, you run Southie, and you have your locations. And your history in Southie, my history, Joe's history in Southie. There was one point where me and you were hanging up posters, and I'm like, Pat, you should have just put our faces on there.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah.
But it's so you know where you're going, and you know who's going to bring people in, and if people listen to you and put the posters up.
We're expanding, since we're on the subject of Southie and Malden, whatnot. We're expanding. We've got some really new ventures we're going into. I originally had said I wasn't going to do a show till 2023. And then people started running shows. I said, they're running. All right, I'm going to do it. And I did 2 shows last year. This year, I already got my first one ready to roll.
Yeah.
The odds of April vacation is most likely 99.9%. And some other ventures have come to my way. We've partnered up with some other groups and other things and businesses. So you're going to see a lot more, and you're going to see a lot of things going to happen over the next year.
The wrestling business is a funny place, isn't it?
Absolutely.
I know there was without putting it out there, I think you were on the ledge after going into your December show on whether or not you were still going to run, like you were saying, 2023. And I know other promotions have said.
No, absolutely.
Now, what's in store for February vacation? I know the heavyweight title.
Non-title match.
Non-title, okay.
Non-title match.
But Dolly's there?
Dolly is booked to participate in a non-title match. We have yet to select his opponent, but it will be non-title.
Okay. That's interesting.
Yes. What else are we looking to see? I'll divulge one match right now. Ilya Markopoulos is going to be taking on Slick Wagner Brown.
Ooh. Has that ever happened before?
If it hasn't, I'm very surprised.
I haven't seen. And those are 2 guys, Ilya's been around, and again, with you,
Wagner.
He was 15 years old.
Oh yeah, Ilya, 15, 16 when he debuted at UFO wrestling.
Yeah,
he was,
having his parents sign the
waiver and coming in. Yeah, exactly.
I remember that.
Yeah, and that's another one.
And Slick's been with you since day one.
Yeah, Slick's been around. Another one when I started training, Slick was there. So
now I don't know how to bring this up, but I'm going to bring it up. I've seen advertised. Actually, Joe sent me a text. Your former heavyweight champ wrestling sort of in the area again.
Which one?
With McCarthy.
It's.
Could we have that McCarthy decimal?
There's the thing is, the last time I spoke with McCarthy, he told me he was done because obviously he had a baby.
His family expanded, right?
Exactly.
Good for him.
But I was taken back when I saw that first time he was wrestling in Vermont.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, okay. All right, no problem. Now he's in Maine.
No. Yeah, it's The Vermont I can kind of understand because I think there's some greenback chalk in
Yeah,
there.
money always talks.
The main thing I said, maybe he's trying to get back into it. Maybe he's got the itch.
Yeah.
Maybe Vermont was what set that itch off.
Yeah.
And Mike's come in and out.
Listen,
You know what I mean, over the years. So
absolutely, 100%. And he knows that my door is always open for him. You know.
But does he get a title shot? I think he would deserve one because
he never lost it.
He's technically still your champ, although Dolly's not the interim.
This ain't the UFC. There's no interim. There's no this, that, you know.
Oh, we got to get into that a little too. I think.
McCarthy, it wasn't stripped, but, you know, when
you haven't
You
defended
vacate the title, you vacate the title.
That's,
Yeah.
yeah. So.
Now, you just mentioned the UFC. And I know you follow that because I know your history there, too. What do you think? Have you seen the sort of stuff going back and forth between Dana White and Jake Paul?
Yes.
So, Joe, Dana White's runs the UFC, obviously. Yep. You know that much. Jake Paul is accusing Dana White of being a cokehead. So Dana White had offered, and I forget how much he offered, but basically said, you can test me as often as you want for 10 years if I can test you for 2 years for steroids. To Jake
and
Paul.
coke.
So, and I don't think Jake Paul responded to that.
No. Jake Paul's response to that was give the fighters better pay, health insurance, family medical, all this stuff. He put a whole list together.
So here's the thing. As Jake Paul's run some boxing events, he's made some money. Because of his name and because of who he was fighting, he sold some pay-per-views. Great. He hasn't really... His pay-per-views, they've gone online.
The numbers aren't there.
And you look at who he's boxed, and it's all been superstars. And Dana White said this, you've boxed superstars, but not boxers.
Yeah.
Tyrone Woodley, not a boxer. Lost his last 4 or 5 UFC fights. Yeah. And I like Woodley. I'm a Woodley fan. Yeah. Ben Scarno was never a boxer.
And even with
he was a wrestler.
Even with him going in, even if he's going in at heavyweight, he'd lose to a professional boxer. He'd probably lose to a lightweight.
His brother fought Mayweather, but there was rules and there were stipulations in there on.
And you saw that when Mayweather hit his brother, he had to hold him up until he gained consciousness. You know?
Yeah.
So he gained it back.
So, I think Jake Paul is real smart at what he's doing, and I think he's
he's doing
marketing. I think his marketing is there.
Listen, he's a genius.
And he's making a killing off of it.
He's a genius, and that's all.
But he's saying he's going to fight MMA again. And he wants to. I mean, he's calling out Diaz. I want to see him box Diaz. I think Diaz beats him in box. Either one, Nick or Nate.
Yeah, I mean, he's calling out Masvidal and all them guys.
That's who he's saying he's going to fight in an MMA fight.
Here's the thing: what some people don't realize, okay? Masvidal was discovered in the backyards of Miami with Kimbo Slice doing street fights. Yes. So if you Google it and you do his history, that's where he was discovered doing the same thing Kimbo Slice did.
So, have you watched any of his fights?
Jake?
Yeah.
No.
Because here's another thing about Pat Dillon that people don't know. But me and Pat, all 3 of us, we grew up in the same circle.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Literally a block apart from each other some nights, if not in the same group.
Yeah.
Pat Dillon.
Depending who had the keg.
Tidal Wave was your boxing nickname.
Yes, I was an amateur boxer at one point. Yes.
So you understand sort of all of these games a little bit.
Absolutely.
And your ties to the UFC are huge. I actually just found one of my old 666 Fightwear shirts.
Nice.
It's a medium.
Yeah.
And I couldn't wear it now.
It's safety pin it to a regular shirt to a 5X.
It was probably from our weekend in Arizona.
2008.
But it so people don't realize what you've done and how long you've been around and all of any of the fight businesses.
Yeah.
In one of them, you can call the top guy and he answers your phone.
Yeah.
You
can go to my, you go to my Instagram, and I recently posted that 10-year challenge thing.
Oh.
And you'll see who commented on it. I'm not going to say who, but you go see who commented and what the comment was.
That's
You know, I mean, I'm not saying that solidifies anything, but I can go into messages and show a list of
Right.
messages. You know, you speak about, you know, who I know and where I, you know, but I don't talk about
And
it.
that also speaks to you as a promoter where you're not using these connections that you obviously could use. Because it's very easy to bring in a name as a favor for a quick, you know.
I mean, even when you were doing the 666 fight where
Yeah.
you had not through your connections at all, but you had John Doomsday Howard wearing your
Yeah.
shirts. I've met so many people just from hanging out with you at the 666 fight wear boots.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, Marcus Davis,
Yes.
you know, we,
Irish hand grenades.
yeah, I mean, we had Danny Lozon at one
Yep.
point. He was running rampant around this area.
Yeah, that's so your connections are there.
I'm just pulling a couple questions out of the chat room to change subjects real quick.
Yeah.
Since this is wrestling, not MMA.
Sure.
Coming out from Black Hat, I really don't want to ask his questions, but I will. What people would you like to get in the ring for UFO? Who would you like to see work in your ring?
At this point right now, I wouldn't mind. Actually, I mean, I could go back and I mean, and go back to my old rosters and this and that, and like people who are doing well these days. Like right now, I wouldn't mind having Anthony Green back into the UFO ring.
The alternate.
Um,
He's got an action figure coming out
yes,
like this month.
Yeah, he does. I actually got a sneak peek of that from the manufacturer.
Okay.
And yeah, I was definitely
I've got a couple on hold, one for my personal and one to give away.
nice. So Anthony Green, I wouldn't mind having back.
Yeah,
God,
he's been on top of the world.
I mean, I could go anywhere.
I mean, you get Anthony Green. He's one of the top guys that was recently released out of WWE. So
Yeah.
that says it enough. I mean, anybody below
mean-
him, in my opinion, would be lesser.
Well, I mean, no, I mean, but
I mean,
we've had
we've been in,
Sasha.
yeah. I mean, we've been in contact with Orange Cassidy. I mean, that would be
That's-
someone I'd wouldn't mind bringing in.
That'll put some butts in the seats.
Orange is so good.
You know, I mean, this is just a list. I mean, there's new talent out there right now that you know.
There's a lot, yeah.
there's-
I mean, and they're accessible. Like, so not even. I mean, you have Alec Price.
yeah,
Alec's one of the best in this area, and
I tell you,
he's had his tryout. He's had, you know, and
Yeah.
you never know what's going to come of that.
well, of course,
Who's the? You've had the top. Like,
I've had
I think
everybody, but then they've been everywhere else also.
right. The
You know?
schools in New England. I think there's sort of a change coming.
Yeah,
I'm seeing the top dogs not putting out the top
Yeah.
people anymore.
Yeah.
If you know what I'm saying, and
Yeah.
I'm not going to say who that is
I will.
because I don't want to crap on anyone.
I'm going to answer him right
Intense
now
stakes.
with not a dream match, but a match I would like to bring to UFO just for nostalgia's sake for me would be Tessa Blanchett versus Rachel Ellering.
Did you ever have
That's a good
Tessa
one. I like that.
at your show? I know
No.
you had Tessa for a signing or something,
No,
right?
I didn't know. She came to that events
a
few years ago,
That's what it was.
and I was sneaky about it. And
She wound up at your booth.
I convinced her to take a picture with me in front of the UFO banner.
Okay,
So that's what I did with that. I was
the pro wrestling
marathon. Yeah.
road race.
Yeah. Yeah. So but Tessa Blanchett versus
Okay.
Rachel Ellering, I would love just for nostalgia,
Yeah.
you know, because of the family history.
And you've always had like great female matches.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, you had Mercedes KV. This later became Sasha Banks.
Yeah.
Um,
I've had
Latasha.
Jordan Grayson.
yes, Latasha's one of the best in the area that people sleep on, and
Yeah.
they don't realize that she's done NXT.
Yeah.
She's done Impact.
Yeah, she has.
She's done AEW.
Yeah.
Like, and she's a little short.
Yeah.
But she can hang with any of
Of
them.
course she can. Absolutely. And it was actually Latasha versus Jordan Grace.
Okay.
I had. on this random show that that took a different approach after that match, but
Oh, okay. Yeah. That wasn't
rated R
yes.
show, but this match wasn't rated R. Jordan was in town,
Yeah.
and she had nothing going on, so I said, "Hey, you want to kick this show off?"
You've had a few incidences like that too, where you had Lindsay Dorado when he was signed
Yeah,
for an autograph signing
yeah.
because he was in town.
He was in town, yeah. Yeah, I've stumbled on stuff like that.
That was
I mean, Booker T cutting a promo for my Harvest Havoc one year
yes.
because I worked an event with him.
That was Booker's the man.
Yeah,
Booker's a good guy. Got some good food for us that day and
Yes.
after the show. But before I get to the next question coming from Jennifer Norris, I'm going to give Barbie here to give a shout out to Brandon Langley. Hope he's doing well after his surgery and everything. Hopefully he's recovering well. And I'm a big time procrastinator. You guys can tell. I still haven't mailed out that picture to him, but I will.
you know what? While we're on that subject too, I just want to give a shout out and speedy recovery to Tommy Vaughn. Tommy Vaughn's in right now having some procedure done. He posted from this hospital bed. He's a good fan. He shows up. He helps out when he's at places. So we want to wish him,
Speedy recovery.
Speedy recovery also.
No.
One more question coming in from Jennifer Norris. She's asking, after all the years of promoting wrestling, what was your favorite match?
Ooh. I don't watch my shows.
Most promoters don't.
I don't watch, but as a matter of fact, now that she mentions it, I saw a clip of a match from 2010 maybe, and it was Mistress Belmont versus Mercedes KV, which is now Sasha Banks. And Mistress Belmont hit her with a powerbomb.
Oh, jeez.
And
Kathy's not light.
No.
She's not.
She came down. I maybe McCarthy and Warbeard, Hansen,
Yes.
or a Malonis Matt Taven.
You had a couple. I'm trying to think.
The funniest might have been. What was the question? Memorable or best or what was it?
After all the years of promoting wrestling, what was your favorite match?
Remember the
Now I'm
fireball?
gonna guess another one. Maybe not your favorite match that you saw in the ring, but what was the favorite match that you put together?
Oh, what did I put together? God.
You could reach out to this person, say, I want you to wrestle this person, and next thing you know,
It had to
it's
be
happening.
maybe a Taven Malonis. When Taven was holding the Triple Crown title there at Ring of Honor or something.
Was that the pie eating contest?
No, that was the year. No, I don't think they wrestled that year. I think it was
You had a couple of great
listen, we're talking about, you mentioned the pie eating contest. I was just gonna say the Tommaso Ciampa Joey Eastman.
Yes, the Tar and Feather match, which Joey nearly got crippled in that match.
Yeah, he did.
Tommaso, they legit tar and feathered each other, and I carried Joey out from that because he couldn't walk, and he damn near got crippled. And Tommaso, you can't blame Tommaso. Tommaso's one of the best.
I mean the Vern Vicalo, Aaron Amadeus street fight, Haverhill street fight in Malden was pretty good. I mean, they incorporated Fago and everything.
Vern's a huge ICP fan. My favorite moment wasn't even at the show; it was after the show, where Trooper broke his wrist. Trooper Gilmore when he did the dive out of the ring.
Yeah, the Battle Royal.
So
I need to go to more shows.
Me and Enigma, Mike Canning, drove Tiny the Terrible to South Station because Tiny's a little person, a midget, and he had drove in with Trooper. Trooper had to go to the hospital, was going to have to probably spend the night.
Yeah.
So we drove Tiny to South Station where he could catch a train back down to Rhode Island. And Mike had a 30-pack in the back of his SUV. Tiny looks and sees that and says, "Can I have a beer?" And before Mike could answer, Tiny's running around in the back of the SUV now, opening beers. And so we get, the South Station was only a few minutes, so he had a beer, and then we let him off on the other side of South Station. And there's Tiny running across the street. So where South Station is, for those who don't know the Boston area, is a very busy street. It's basically a highway, and there's an on-ramp to the
It's
highway,
one of
literally
the
right
main
there.
hubs of the MBTA in Boston.
And there's this little person running across the street around midnight wearing chic boots
Yes.
because he didn't change out of his boots, so he had the curly-toe stoots.
I'm surprised he didn't start getting chased. People thinking they caught the leprechaun at the end of the rainbow.
Wrong color.
Hey,
It was a sight to be seen, and me and Mike, when Tiny got out, all we could do is shrug. But your shows I've always had a blast at.
Yeah.
Whether it's seeing people that you don't see a lot, like I know some of the old timers still show up in the Malden shows, and
Yeah.
so you don't know who's going to be in the audience.
No.
You don't know who's going to show. You don't know if maybe Frankie Kazarian and Chris Danielson are going to show up.
Maybe,
You
they have in the past, so you never
They
know.
just randomly pop into the show.
one of these shows I'm going to show up at.
Well, we were at a show. He had Devon, and he sends me out back to get Devon, and Devon was riding with Jose Perez's wife. So she comes, when I came back, she was like, "Oh my God, thank God it's you," because I've known Claudia. And we get Devon in, and then Pat's like, "Yeah, I just got the text to Chris Danielson and Frankie Kazarian. They're gonna come and just watch." And they just snuck in, and they didn't. I mean, I think they might have signed a handful.
Oh yeah, they did. They brought merch.
Did they?
Oh yeah, they brought merch with them. Yeah. And
Well, if you're going to pop into an indie show, you'd be stupid not to bring
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, and they were coming from a signing that was in the area, so.
Oh, so they just happen to have it with them.
right.
So you never know, and it's crazy.
And that's the thing. It's you're kind
And
of.
you had Devon, and that was like he was in the middle of the Aces and Eights, like probably doing the biggest non-Devon, non-Dudley Brothers stuff that he's done in his career.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, though. You get guys, the top guys in business, and you run from indie show to indie show, or from signing to signing, and you're gonna even if you're just out walking the street, carry something with you.
No.
Have some kind of merch with you anywhere.
What's the date? What's the actual date for?
February vacation
Yes.
is Friday. We went away from the Wednesday. We were going Friday, February 25th.
And that's UFO Boss Wrestling.
Yes,
On Twitter?
On Twitter, yeah. We're at Malden Irish American Club, 177 West Street. Doors are going to open at 7. Tickets will be $15 general admission.
And that they can get that info off the website.
Oh yeah, of course.
I'm gonna go to that one.
Yeah.
I'll probably be at that one. I'll show up after work. You pick me up at work.
Yeah. We'll go.
It's on the way.
I'm feeling a little generous right now. So I'm going to give another match
Okay.
All
before we post it out in the public. Now, this was a match we were supposed to run back in December, but due to contractual obligations elsewhere, it didn't happen. Once again, Viciously Delicious, Fern Vicalo and Luscious Latasha are going to team up, and they're going to take on the team of Channing Thomas and Little Mean Kathleen
Okay.
in a mixed tag match.
Little Mean Kathleen's one of those girls that's really
Bob D's asking for any gold tickets.
Any gold tickets?
Gold tickets is what he's saying. Any gold tickets.
Gold tickets are gone.
Bobby, they're gone. Sorry, Bobby.
Gold tickets are gone for the mere fact that we kept them relevant for 2 years, even longer. So
All right.
that's the season. The season's over.
That's
Well, there's somebody else mentioning in the chat room saying, JP, you going? I want to meet you. I don't know
Yes.
Tina Weber.
Tina. I plan on being there. I think we've actually met.
Probably at a Fenway. Were you at a Fenway?
I've been at the Fenways.
Yeah.
I was thinking of your show at
My show?
Malden, no?
She might have been at a couple. Yeah, she's been showing up with dear old dad.
Sorry, guys. I do have Not COVID. I have a cold. I apologize.
And I'm immortal.
And I'm wearing my KN95.
I have my mask on. That's why I'm wearing,
Yeah.
wearing mine because I know I'm sick and I don't want to spread it. Pat
So,
happens to be healthy. Go figure, you're the healthy one.
Actually, you know what? Let's see. Who else is going to appear on this show? Do we want to know?
Little Mean Kathleen's been making a name in the area. Like, she's been doing a ton.
Yeah.
Vern was one of the best in the area and got injured, and glad to see him back around.
Yes.
And him viciously delicious.
And I mean, the Rotten Apple. I mean, I've been contacted by his handlers, Mr. Blackie himself, currently of.
I saw a picture of him. I'm not familiar with Blackie, but he's a Boston mainstay in like the bars, isn't he?
Yes, he's from the he's got the Omni Present Management Group, okay, and OMG, and they're no gimmick, all right. So he's bringing the Rotten Apple to Malden.
Okay.
And
the Rotten Apple's been on your last couple of shows.
Yes. So he's ready to make some noise in the world of professional wrestling.
Okay.
As you know, he is, like I said, he's a mainstay in the Boston bar scene, which could be good.
Yeah, I mean, you think about it, and that's really where a lot of the guys have come from.
Yes.
Now, let me ask you a question about the phrase mainstay in the Boston bar scene. Now, we all grew up in a town where if you're a mainstay in a bar, that means you're drunk.
Okay.
Explain what you mean by that bar mainstay in the bar.
Like, what was like Mistress Carrie?
So she do appearances, do different things like that?
Yes. Promote the bars, different bars.
Oh, so he have like theme nights and things like that?
Like
okay.
You're the face of...
all right, I get you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Equivalent, probably not on as high of an end as Mistress Carey because she was based through the radio station.
Yeah. All right.
But this is what this guy, but you'll see him rubbing elbows with your Andrewsies, your Greg Hills,
okay.
your Zolax, your Ernie Box, those people.
Right, I just wasn't sure because, like you said, the mainstay in the bar is the guy that's on the stool in the end all week long.
Right.
No, he's like your
an appearance guy, like a host type
your bootleg Mistress Carrie.
There you go.
All
right.
That's
okay. I get that now.
That's
so
interesting.
Yes.
We'll see how that ties into pro wrestling.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I mean, we've seen in the past where there's been some music personalities that have, radio station personalities that have been involved in professional wrestling especially this area over the course of the years.
Yeah, Scorch, was it?
Yeah.
Scorch. Famously.
Jackson Blue actually held a title with Bo Jackson, yeah. With Bo Douglas, I believe, in MWF.
Okay. Bo's tagged with a lot of people because he's not to expose the business, but Bo's a veteran that can carry a match. So
I'm trying to think too. Who's the guy that used to be Toucher and Rich? They're like little punching bag.
Toucher and Rich had
not Crash, the other guy.
I want to say Cavino, but that's a whole different show. Crash is who I was thinking of.
Yeah, the little heavy set guy.
Yeah, and then they had
I think he was in a match.
Then they had Chili Guy, the homeless guy that lived in Southie.
Yeah.
I mean, Lyndon Byers had his shot at one point, but I mean, it's out there. I mean, those personalities get involved, and
that's
and
it's a good way to. One, it's another good way of hyping the show up because he's going to talk about it, at the bars.
Yeah.
And Bobby D saying the Duke of Dorchester.
Oh, I think he's passed away.
I don't think so.
I think he passed away.
Did he?
Yes.
Pete Doherty.
Yeah. Legend.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I got to meet him once or twice
through
Joe Bruin.
Yeah. Last time I met him, he was in the other character, the green, whatever he was when he was dressed in green. Oh yeah, he was he had the mask. He looked like a green El Conquistador.
Huh.
Yeah, I forget what the name was, but yeah.
I met him through Joe Bruin once or twice, and probably through George, because George was close with him for a while.
Yeah.
Now, so outside of your own shows, me and you used to travel to shows pretty frequently. You go to different promotions.
Yes.
Did that come into play in how you ran your promotion? Like seeing how other promotions run, like, I don't want to say.
No. Not at all, because I was only there as a spectator.
Okay.
I wasn't really seeing how their promotions were run. I mean,
scouting talent.
And for those who don't know, every time me and Pat went to a show, with one exception, we paid because we always said if we weren't helping, we pulled up to the one showcase show.
Yeah.
Remember that where the trailer had fallen off?
Yeah. Yeah. And we helped put the trailer back on the truck.
Yeah. So we got in for free on that one. But we've always paid. Always said, guys, support your pro wrestling. Don't try to pull the, can I get in for nothing? Unless you're setting up the ring or you're doing something to help the show, you hang up posters, something like that. But support independent pro wrestling. It's so important, especially these days, because it is a small business.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's been affected by COVID.
Yeah.
Affected by COVID. And it's also, you think about the big names that have kind of, in a sense, in the past years, kind of squashed it.
Yeah.
Where they wouldn't let people come around, or they'd absorb all the good talent and then make them sit in the bench.
Not anymore, though.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem that way anymore. They're the days of collective talent seem to be gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, of course.
At least for the time being.
And that's why I'm gonna touch on that as well. That's why on my shows now, you start seeing talent from out of state.
Okay.
Because if I book you for Saturday, but you're 2 towns over on Friday.
Right. Or even Saturday.
Yeah. Yeah. So your fans aren't coming to see you at my show when they can walk out their front door and see you on somebody else's show.
And you've kind of done that for a while. You've been you got a lot of kids from like Philadelphia, Pittsburgh area.
Yeah. Go down there.
New York, New Jersey.
Yeah.
And you've always done that. I mean.
Yeah, for quite a while now. Yeah.
You know, Fowler and them coming in from Jersey with a car full all the time.
Yeah. No, of course. The Franco Varga and his guys coming up from Delaware and Virginia. Even now, like I said, Johnny Moran.
Yeah.
He's been pretty much a mainstay on my shows coming up from Scranton, Pennsylvania. So.
It's like, it's good that you just said that, because I don't think like the local guys realize that when they work every show that they sort of devalue themselves in the area.
Yeah.
Like if you work.
It's the oversaturation of the market.
I mean. Yeah. I'm not saying you can't work for, I'm going to name a couple of the bigger companies like UFO, Chaotic, Beyond. That's fine.
Yeah.
But it's when you start getting into the smaller shows that I won't name and doing all of those, because like you guys all sort of have your thing. Like the 3 I just named especially. UFOs, Thursday night. Beyond is Thursday night. You are the vacation weeks.
Yeah, the Wednesday vacation weeks.
And Chaotic Fridays, every third Friday or whatever it is. Yeah. You guys have your thing. So those guys aren't going to oversaturate themselves like that. But when you start doing ABC, DEF, GEH, you really devalue yourself. Like if you, instead of taking those bookings, look for a booking in Philadelphia, look for a booking in Texas, look for a booking everywhere else. And you look at what Alec Price is doing. Alec's been everywhere this year.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I'd say the last part of 2021 into now. He's been everywhere.
Even a tryout.
And
at the Performance Center.
Yeah, so that kid hustles.
Yeah.
He takes every piece of he's the thing with Alec is not a gimmick. Alec is his character.
Yes, 100%.
But Alec listens. He takes everything in. So people told Alec to put on weight. What did Alec do? Put on some size.
Yeah.
Went down to the Performance Center. And I know for a fact, because I texted the person, that he I'm not going to say he had help with the tryout, but he had a little counseling before the tryout, and he took all of that in.
Of course.
And just, I love that kid. I think that kid is
young in this business. You got to be a sponge. You gotta
every
take it
time
all
he
in.
comes up to me, it's the OG. That's just how Alec is. Like, he's a young kid, enthusiastic. And you know who he reminds me of? And I was thinking of this the other day, is DC.
Yeah.
He is going to be the guy in 10 years that people who don't know him are going to tell you he's an a-hole.
Yeah.
But the people who know him are going to be like, oh, he's the best person in the world.
100%. You couldn't have nailed that any more perfect.
You know,
with that, analogy there.
I was thinking of that the other day because, DC was someone we were all close with. And I think of him frequently.
Yeah.
And Alec is like the persona of that now.
I think my son's still scared a little.
Yeah,
No, but like you were saying about these young kids trying to get out to the different shows and all that promote, and that's where you got to network. You're gonna find out. You're gonna go book the show down in Jersey, and you're gonna meet up with one of the guys in Jersey, become friends, and you're gonna crash on his couch, and then he'll come up here and crash on your couch.
You don't have to mail a tape U.S. Postal Service anymore. You can send a link to a match to a promoter on YouTube.
Or you can say, "Hey, I know this guy, and he'll vouch for you."
Exactly.
You
That's another reason why I bring these guys up. So now my regulars now have the connections down there to say, hey, I got a kid from Boston coming down. He's willing to do everything you need to do. If we can find a spot for him, we'll find a spot for him.
Right.
Yeah,
and you usually do.
And most of the time, they'll find a spot, whether it's a run-in or it's
you might not get a spot on that show.
quick.
It might take you a couple of shows to get a spot. And I just saw a former independent New England pro wrestler that did pretty well in the area saying that's bull. And I don't think so. I think because I've seen it, the Hoods. The Hoods had a past where they had to come back and prove themselves. And they wanted to get on NECW.
Mm-hmm.
They showed up at every show. What can we do? What can we do? What can we do? Until finally they got a spot. I think Pyro got a spot first. And then Davey was always showing up with them. What can I do? What can I do? Until finally they got a match against each other.
Mm-hmm.
They killed it. And that's how they got their spot. Like, they worked for it.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that a promoter who says, oh, just come next month and help me set up again every month for a year.
Yeah.
No, after a little while, you got to realize you're not getting that spot.
Exactly.
And you can't be afraid to ask for it either.
Right.
I've been here, I've been cutting my teeth. Let me see what can you do for me.
But I think showing up and I think doing your, setting the ring up, working the concession stand, the merch table, that stuff, that goes a long way. Maybe ring announce, maybe ref.
Yeah.
See the lot, like that's how Anthony Green got his start, was refereeing or actually setting the ring up and then refereeing.
Yeah. But Anthony was even there beforehand.
Burning DVDs.
Exactly. Anthony was doing like making his own collection of interviews with wrestlers.
Yes.
And that's
famously.
And that's how it started with Anthony in UFO. Hey, I've been following this person for a little while now. Do you mind if I go in and sit down with him for a few minutes and get a few words?
Yeah, and 12 years old.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's the thing too, with a kid coming at you like that, you can be like, yeah, sure, buddy, come on.
Yeah, go ahead.
He walked up to Sweet and Sour Larry Sweeney at a Chikara show and was like, I want to interview you. And just like that.
Yeah.
And how do you say no to the kid?
Yeah, exactly.
Especially knowing Anthony now, he knew what he was doing back then.
Yeah,
100%.
Anthony knew everything he was doing. Like he was a ref. When you shook his hand, how you doing? He said it's all good from day one of a ref until he became all good Anthony Green.
Yeah.
Everything was planned out.
He was setting himself up from the start.
Yeah.
To get the success he's at now.
And I love Anthony. Like, he's literally like a little brother to me. He's gonna get back.
Of course he is.
He's doing the AEW thing here and there, and he's gonna be at the top at some point.
And he's traveling everywhere else now as well.
Yeah.
So
smart.
Without a doubt.
They stayed down south down in Florida.
Yeah.
I've talked to him a few times, and he's going to put out his own action figures,
Yeah.
which is incredible.
They're going to sell out
If you
Yeah, I
can't
think they
promote
already
real
have.
fast. Yeah.
if
I
you
think-
can't promote yourself, who can you promote?
I think they already have.
Yeah.
Now, we're giving away a figure. And this is, we've done the figures before, but I'm actually giving one away from my collection.
Okay.
And the people get their choice. Whoever wins is going to get to choose the Undertaker is Kane figure, ringside exclusive.
Yeah.
It's, I don't know, it sells on eBay for somewhere between around $50 to $75.
Yeah.
Or if they don't like that figure, they can choose the Edge with the Edge head. It's another ringside exclusive. It's doesn't sell for quite as much, but it's still a really nice figure.
Yeah.
I want to go ahead and I do have the wheel up.
Okay.
I'm gonna spin that real quick. I'm gonna shake the names up.
I didn't retweet this week. The my own show. I didn't retweet it, so I'm not on it.
Let's see.
I've won before.
Who's the lucky winner?
I'm gonna shuffle it a few times.
I hope it's not Blackheart.
Let's see. Who's on there?
I'm on that. I get to keep my figure.
It's that Cyber Yeti
Eric
guy.
McCurry.
Let's see. Short McShort. Short McShort's on there every time we do this.
Okay.
I think they've won before.
Yeah.
I'll reach out to them, and that'll get mailed out Friday. Actually, Short McShort, congratulations. I have no idea if I played music during the spin. I didn't put the headphones on.
Yeah.
But congratulations, Short McShort. I love the name. I always comment on that when I message you when you win. You gotta let me know what figure and what address, and we'll get that out to you.
Congrats.
And again, coming out, it's unopened. I have my own that I've opened the sort of because the Undertaker is Kane has like a little flap that opens so you can see the figure. I've opened it up on mine, but this one is
Yeah.
untouched.
Open it up. It's got a little sticky.
That's it.
That's my loose figures.
Oh, okay, yeah. Those are the ones you sleep with.
Yes. Yes, sometimes. The Jimmy Valiant has a steel chair, which is kind of cool.
Oh.
He can sit down.
So he is old.
So Cena won.
Yeah, Joe, that was close. That was close. Yeah, so UFO wrestling, February vacation. I think it's a good show.
Yeah.
Your Malden shows are always fun. The bar, not quite open to the public, but sort of. They don't turn people away on the other side. Yeah, they don't turn people away.
Yeah.
Trust me.
No, I know that. Yeah, you know that, and I know that.
I got lost with the van keys one day,
Yes.
the truck keys.
Yes.
Me and Reaper Steve Beck were sitting over at the bar. This was when you had the dancing shoes, Ernest Miller in.
Cat. Ernest the Cat.
Yes, you had Ernest Miller in. I was sitting with Ernest all day, and then towards the end of the show, Steve says, "Oh, let's go over the bar." And the whole thing was he wanted to buy Ernest Miller a drink. Ernest said no.
Yeah.
I didn't. Now we're sitting over there, and
When have you ever said no to a drink?
that's happened actually.
Well, I drive, so
It's so we're sitting over there. I'm like, man, it's been a while. We haven't heard from anyone. And then I realized they're trying to unload the ring onto the truck that's locked, and I had the truck keys in my pocket.
yeah, typical.
Right.
I can see that happen.
Usually I drink during your shows, though.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, yes.
Allegedly.
Nothing wrong with the Ducky's cup with the slush in it.
No.
No.
But it's the thing with the UFO shows is they're not stuffy. They're not overproduced. It's a fun show.
Yeah.
Family friendly. You always have a lot of kids there.
Except for last show.
Well,
The show was amazing.
right.
Crowd, not. But, the first potential snowstorm was coming in. Patriots were playing that Saturday.
And there was a hurricane.
Yeah, it
In
was a
the rain.
hurricane. Yeah, it was a hurricane. So we were battling a lot of issues that night.
And
But,
it was at a place where you haven't run before. I mean, it was Southie, but it wasn't,
first time, yes.
you have your spot you usually go to there, and
Yeah.
it's a fun, like I love the salty shows because I see people I haven't seen in a long time.
Yeah.
I couldn't make that show. I had a family obligation.
Yes, absolutely.
But
I did too, but I opted not to go.
That time, that would be called a family inconvenience. If you,
Ironically, I think some people blew off the family obligation I was at to go to your family's obligation.
Probably.
I
Yeah.
have no excuse. I
Um,
just didn't go.
but it's you always have a fun show, and it's like I said, it's loose, it's casual. Malden, you usually have a line out front, starting with Tommy Flynn,
Yeah.
and it goes from there. Like before the show starts, like you have a line in that hallway, so you got to get there early.
Yeah.
You got to, there's a park across the street. You usually have concessions. I don't know if you're gonna have Leo or Kenny in,
Yeah.
but
Leo will be in concessions.
so and Leo does great concessions.
Yes.
If he
Is he sausages?
Leo does like
Hot dogs?
He'll have hot dogs and he'll have pizza probably.
The typical hot dogs,
But,
pizza,
Lisa
some
but
popcorn.
Leo can cook.
Yeah.
So Leo might do his meatballs. In fact, I might request that. Leo will be on here in the next couple of weeks. I think, now that we
COVID.
now that we have this down.
So, while we're actually, you want to talk about that, we're actually introducing a new sponsor very, within the next day. I could probably reveal something right now if you'd want.
Sure. I like announcements.
One of our newest sponsors is going to be the Revival Cafe and Kitchen, which now currently has 3 locations. One in Cambridge, one in Davis Square in Somerville, and they just opened a 3rd location on Newberry Street in Boston.
Nice.
I guess I haven't indulged yet, but I'm hearing their fried chicken sandwich is amazing.
What did you say? Road trip?
Yeah.
I'll drive.
It's not too far to Davis Square.
I'll drive.
They will be in attendance in some capacity on February 25th. We have yet to decide what capacity, but they will be in attendance.
Okay.
Yep.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's always nice. And again, you pick up a new partnership. That's a place that's going to advertise you because it helps them, and you're going to advertise them because it helps you, vice versa. One hand washes the
And they
other.
sell food, so it helps us.
Correct.
That's
Yeah. So, if you go on Instagram,
and
Facebook, it's Revival Cafe and Kitchen.
Follow
and it's out of the way, so it doesn't interfere with your favorite cafe,
Yes.
which we all know is Olga's in
Olga's.
South Boston.
Yes.
If you don't follow Pat Dillon on Facebook, he's live every day.
Yeah.
Sometimes from Olga's Cafe.
That's right. So yeah, like I said, they have 3 locations. Yes, that's them up top. 3 locations. One in Cambridge by Alewife. Like I
Falling
said,
down.
Jen, I can answer that yes, because if you're not, I will be. So yes. Jen asked if she'll be at the door.
oh, I love you. So, yeah, they got, like I said, 3 locations. One Cambridge by Alewife. 2nd location, Elm Street on Davis Square, Somerville, and 103 Newberry Street, I believe, their 3rd location and newest location is.
Nice. That's it's like I said, when you pick up a sponsor, especially when someone like that's got multiple locations.
Yeah.
They're not too far. Cambridge isn't too far from Malden.
No.
No.
You know what?
It makes a lot of sense. And
No, it's just a bad route.
Newberry Street's, everybody from South, they think they're on Newberry Street now. So
Absolutely.
Way Better You and I
That's
love
it.
Way Better You.
That's what I'm saying. Our good friends from Way Better You.
One of the nicest people that's ever been in the wrestling business, Sam
Personal
Amato.
training and group fitness. They were on board right from the start.
Yes.
They're located in Everett. They're on Instagram, Facebook, everywhere else.
There's a picture on my Facebook of me and Sam.
Yeah.
And just having a conversation. And Sam's like pointing at something. We're in some random hall. It was the Ringside Entertainment's Christmas party one.
Okay.
And what we were discussing was him starting this
Yeah.
as a podcast.
Yeah.
But he had that Way Better You as my idea for the podcast back then.
Yeah.
and he's turned it into so much more than a podcast. Like,
And now they're starting a new podcast,
I saw that.
Wrestling Will Wait.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Sam is a good friend. I didn't know Sam, and when he did that TV show,
Fat March.
yes, when they walked
Him and Rosie.
from the start of the Boston Marathon,
Yeah.
and they walked for days and days. He called me up when that ended, and I don't even know how he got my phone number.
Yeah.
He called me up and said, "JP, it's Sam Amato, Makua. I just want you to know I did this. I can't talk about it yet, but I'll talk to you when I can." Cool, and it's been a friendship ever since. Like,
Yeah, Sam's a good
literally
guy.
one of the nicest people in pro wrestling.
Absolutely.
And his
100%.
baby's cute as hell too.
Yes. Yeah, let's see. Bobby says he'll finally get to meet you, Joe.
About time. I want to be there. Like I said, I want to be there.
All right.
I'm gonna
So
say hi to everybody.
Bobby gets to meet Joe and Tina gets to meet JP.
And they both, yeah, Tina gets
Who
to
wins
meet
in
me
that
too.
deal? I think Tina.
I think
So
Tina might meet
you would
everybody
win in that
away.
deal.
I think Tina wins in that deal.
You would win in that deal.
No, because then I get to meet Tina too, so I get Tina and Bobby.
You're
So
right.
they lose,
They definitely lose. Yeah.
and they get to meet 10, so they win.
Yes.
That's it. Everyone gets to meet
If
10.
he doesn't stink on that particular
Oh, he definitely is
day.
going to stink.
All right.
If
Maybe,
those of you who don't know, 10 is my Great Dane service dog because I have a spinal condition and he helps me with brace and mobility.
Then he smells today.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I do feed him a salmon-based diet. So
He's been fighting the whole time we've been in the studio.
I thought that was bad.
Yeah. No, you would have heard mine.
I've snuck one or two in.
Yeah.
I'm afraid I'd crap myself if I did.
She keeps saying she's never met you.
Yeah, I thought I had met her.
Yeah.
I know I've met some of Bobby's family at the shows. So
Any of the big time shows?
no, your show, Malden shows.
Yeah.
There's been one
I
or
don't think I've
two.
ever been to Malden. I don't know.
Oddly enough, I used to do Malden Access TV every week,
Yeah. Yeah, that was
If I
fun.
don't
and
remember.
now we're here at QA TV. That was fun. That
Yeah.
was a good time.
Those
Shout
were
out
good
to
times.
Quest and Gwen.
Yeah.
Glenn.
Yeah. Shout out.
Great TV is pretty nice. Nice little studio.
Yeah, this is. I never, when we started this, how many years ago? I never foresaw anything like
When we
this.
started this, it was on dial-up.
It was us, yeah, and it was literally just on our phones.
Yep.
Now we both have all kinds of equipment at home that we don't use anymore because we
Oh,
got
yeah.
this.
If I was to price out the equipment I have, I'm probably close to $1,000,
Yeah,
$1,500
you
worth of equipment.
And you've never used
And
any
I've
of
never
it.
used any of it.
Mm.
I've opened the boxes and looked at it a lot and pushed the buttons.
You gotta
But
look
I don't know how to do
you
it.
have to look on YouTube. It'll show you.
Oh, I know. But then, I'll be looking at YouTube and then they'll show the ad for something about food and I'll go over
See, I
there.
got YouTube Premium, so I pay for my YouTube.
I'm like, I can pay anything.
So here's the thing: is I paid for YouTube for the first season of Cobra Kai, and then I realized how awesome YouTube was without commercials. So I paid for it ever since.
You can't find it on the Fire Stick?
Well, then Cobra Kai jumped over.
What, Cobra Kai?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's on Netflix now. It's not on YouTube anymore.
I know. With the Fire Stick.
No, I could have.
That's where I find all my stuff.
But with the I just because I watch a ton of YouTube now,
Yeah.
more than television, I think. And now without the commercials, it's awesome.
I just watch commercials. That's it. I fast forward through the show, watch the commercials.
You're special.
Get some good deals.
I bet you do.
Yeah.
I bet you do. On KN95 masks.
Exactly. I just got 50 of them today.
You got to shave around your beard.
I should
Like, that's
shave.
what you got to do. You got to shave a circle where the mask sits.
I should shave everything that's under the mask.
I want it to be like the bands at the games where they just got a hole cut right there and they're still playing their trumpets and stuff.
Yeah. Serves
they
no
really?
purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The
That's
flutes and their trumpets at the college football games.
that's.
I wonder how much COVID could be spread for a tuba.
Yeah.
That's funny. I never noticed that.
Oh,
Because usually, like, performers can take their masks off. I don't know if that's the case now with the new regulations. Like, we won't get political. I think a job can say, hey, we need you to wear your mask. I don't think the government should.
Yeah. Correct.
You know what I mean? And that's,
Correct.
unfortunately, in some local markets, that's what's
What
happening.
if you're in a government job?
Well, then they can tell you have to, but like they shouldn't be able to tell.
Like Senator so and so shouldn't be able to say, "Hey, you people over here, wear your mask."
Right, but what if you're not working there? So what if you're just going into? You need to go to City Hall. You need to go to the DMV or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Personally, I always have a mask on me. I wear a mask all day. Well, I wear a mask in work. Like this week, I've been lucky and I've been down in our freight area, and so I've been by myself all day. So I didn't wear the mask.
Now, if COVID was a wrestler, who would it be?
Iron Sheik.
Yeah.
I can see that. Yeah.
100%.
Because it's making us all humble.
Yeah.
It's bending us all over and making us all humble.
Just bending us over.
Is what it's doing.
Yeah.
So Sheiky.
Right.
That was good, Joe. That was good.
It's now. So UFO February vacation Friday. What time?
February 25th. Doors open at 7 p.m.
Okay.
Because it's a Friday night, I was going to push kind of like 8 o'clock, but it's vacation week.
Right.
So it's not like, I mean, people are still working, but not as if it was a regular Friday night.
That's good. You know,
People
that's
will
good.
just bring
That's
their
perfect
laptops
for
or
me.
work
Yeah.
from
Because
home.
by the time I get there, the ring will be all set up.
Sure.
Not that
No.
I haven't touched it.
Yeah, well, you can break it down. So,
Tin will help.
I haven't touched it in a couple of years because I'm old now.
yeah, of course.
But me and you have done the ring so many
Oh, yeah.
times. Like, did you remember going to Rumble's place? And like literally, we pulled up. I think it was Rumble's place in Maine, and we pulled up to get the ring, and there was a bunch of them that were sleeping up at Rumble's, and they were supposed to come down and help. And by the time they came down and helped, me and you like had the truck loaded.
Yeah.
I haven't done a ring in a long time.
But that's just how it was. That's
Yeah,
just how it is.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah,
You get in there, you get it done.
that's it. Oh, of course.
Yeah, now-
Absolutely.
So you don't know about McNeely.
The odds of McNeely being in attendance are very good. 100%. Not, well, I'm not going to say 100%, but they're very good because, you know, he wants to make sure Bo Douglas doesn't get out of line again.
Well, they'd be added security. I mean, he's technically a spectator.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I mean, that's trespassing. That's
You know, I most likely, usually Malden and I have a good security force. This was a
He's-
charity show, fundraiser, so I didn't expect any shenanigans, really,
right.
but it happened.
I won't say he's lucky because he's Peter McNeely.
Yeah.
But old school wrestling, you don't do that.
Yeah.
And that's what the school Bo's from.
I mean, you
But-
can go back, I don't know how many years, 2013 maybe, where Jerry Guns did it to John Doomsday Howard. He got into his face.
Is that okay?
Yeah, the show he ran at Mass College of Art.
Yeah, I remember that.
Jerry Guns try to get in there. Oh, I'm Mr. ANC, Mr. Muscle. I get the biggest arms in New England or whatever.
That's
And he went up to another one with registered deadly hands. You know, I mean,
you know what we gotta do. You know what match I think needs to happen? There's two veteran wrestlers from 02127 from South Boston.
okay,
And I think we gotta figure out how to make it happen.
okay,
Big Mike Davis
okay.
and the Castle Island Assassin.
All right.
I mean,
That could
Mike,
be a good match.
you got Mike Davis, who was like a Kowalski original.
Yeah.
I mean, he's coming from the Triple H days, the China days.
Yeah. Before
Probably.
then.
Yes,
Before
probably.
then, yeah.
Probably the Chinatown days.
Yeah.
And then you got CIA, who I don't know who trained him because you don't know what's under the mask.
Yeah. No,
Um,
I have no idea what
He's a
it's-
revolutionary.
But I can
war
tell you, growing up
leftover.
in Southie, everyone in this room has had their share of fights.
Yeah.
So I mean, you learn how to fight.
of course.
And I've actually shared the ring with Castle Island Assassin.
Yeah. You did.
The one time I got in the ring was for you for the Turkey Rumble,
Yeah. You didn't
and that you let
Rumble.
me. Yeah, we actually talked to Brandito about that when Brandito was on.
Yeah.
Who, guys, just for the record, the proceeds for that the proceeds that we made off of that show with that what we have did go to Brandon. They've been received. He's very thankful. So thank you guys for listening and allowing us to do that for him, because his expenses and his mother's expenses, it's a lot.
Yeah.
But me and him, there was a little spot in the Rumble where me and him was security, and you announced both of us in there, and we wound up
in the ring.
Fighting, and
Yeah.
I got out of there before Jose Perez found me.
Smart.
I literally, as I got in the ring, I heard, "Oh, JP's in here," and I knew the voice, and I knew what my chest would look like if he caught me.
Is he still working?
He does more promoting than wrestling.
Okay.
He's part of the booking. He was part of the XWA team. I don't know if he even still is or not, but I know he was. I don't know if are they even still a thing at this point.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know what their capacity is.
Yeah, I know.
But yes.
I think they lost. They gave up their building with COVID.
They gave up the building that they would use training students and doing their Thursday night, student shows or whatever, house shows.
But Jose's one I've known since the day I got started showing up in independent wrestling, and Jose's one of the hottest shops in the area. I wasn't getting hit by that.
Yeah.
But I thank you for that, because that was something where I actually got to live out a little bit of a dream, and that was a bucket list thing for me to get in there. And another one was a chair show, which I later got to.
That was pretty funny. The chair show
was not funny.
Well, I mean,
the chair show wasn't planned.
From my point of view, it was amazing.
And that wasn't at a UFO show.
Good.
The UFO shows were fun and safe.
See, right?
But yeah, and so now we want to get. How did UFO start? Let's get into it, because I know a little bit of it.
My brother was bored with life, and he said, "You know what? I want to run a show." So he said, "Okay," and he knew I was in the industry,
right,
in some capacity. So he kind of recruited me to scout, reach out to talent and see if they'd be interested. And next thing you know, he rented a building and had a show.
Not just a building.
An armory.
He ran. Oh, that's right, the Dorchester Armory. First.
Yeah.
I was thinking the PAL, which the PAL was a gym me and you grew up going to.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I can remember wrestling your brother in the boxing ring there.
Yeah.
Your brother just sort of swatting us away because he was a couple of years older.
Yeah.
The Chopper Mark comedy fights.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
So that's basically what it was. My brother wanted to put on a wrestling show.
I have something I want to talk about.
Okay.
Right.
I want to talk about Danny Tanner.
Okay.
What's his face?
Bob
Saget, who just passed away.
Yes.
Bob Saget, we've done comedy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys know Bob Saget was in the wrestling business?
No.
Bob Saget, for not even a short time, I don't think he ever went to a show. Bob Saget was the director of fun for Chikara.
Wow.
And they actually had, they would get him to cut videos and, do things. I don't know how they managed to do that. And then it went from him to Dave Coulier.
Okay.
And then somehow down the line, it went from him to, Quackenbush to Bryce, Remsburg to, I think the most recent one was, what's Joey's character?
We'll think of it
the
later.
old promoter that I know it's he announces for Beyond Wrestling now.
I don't know.
But
I
yeah,
can't think of it off the top of my head.
I can do that job.
yeah, but that was so the director of fun was basically what they use for a commissioner. Instead of calling it a commissioner, they call it a director of fun. So that's a little known fact about that.
About
I
Bob
figured
Saget,
when
yeah.
he did recently, I got to see him do stand up a couple
I
years
saw
ago.
him at the.
So raunchy, so funny.
Oh my God! The best line he ever said was, "Kimmy Gibbler." Yeah.
Yeah, that was how he started the show. I saw.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I guess some of you were in Worcester. Me, you, and
Rob Marcos. I was definitely with Rob Marcos.
I don't know.
which was the only time I hung out with him outside of wrestling.
Yeah, it's that, I mean, people talk about, their childhood and growing up, like, and it's sad is, he was the All-American dad,
Yeah.
I guess,
Yep.
But then even from there, the funny home videos.
Yeah.
I mean, he was doing,
I watched, there's a TikTok I watched Baker Banter, and Baker Banter is a family. It's the son has Down syndrome, and he's a huge wrestling fan. Like, he loves WWE, AEW. Like, AEW actually had him backstage.
oh,
and
yes,
stuff.
I've seen,
he met,
I've
CM
seen
Punk.
them, yes.
I love the Baker Banter guys.
Yeah.
And the sister went in because someone asked if he knew about it, and this kid just broke down crying. Like,
Yeah.
that's the effect. And I understand, like, he has Down syndrome, but because he has Down syndrome, there's just no filter there.
He loves more.
You're right. So, like, it affected him that much.
Well, it's funny that not funny, but I was
Odd.
listening to a segment on the radio this morning, and it was one of those crazy segments about, like, second dates and stuff like that, and they call people who got ghosted, and the kid ghosted this girl because he was sad of the death of John Madden and Betty White.
What?
Yeah,
That's
because John Madden was an idol because of football, and Betty White was a grandmother idol. And he ghosted this girl he was dating because he was mourning the loss of these two legends.
that's crazy.
Now, I've taken some celebrity deaths pretty hard before, like, Ralphie May, John Candy. There's a few of them that I was like, close, not necessarily personally close to, but I really follow.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to, like, hey, Pat, I'm going to meet you for dinner. I can't just, so-and-so died.
Yeah.
Like,
Like Chris Canyon, me and you got to have a
Oh,
relationship with Chris. And that affected
actually
me,
got
but
to
it
the point
wasn't
where
to
we
that
called him a
point.
friend.
Yeah. But it didn't affect me to that point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where I was canceling plans and
I had I had a night where I was kind of off kilter a bit, but never like, I'm not going to eat for a month.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like, guys, we just went well over an hour.
Oh, yeah. Then kick us out of the building in 15.
That's it. So,
all right.
Pat, the show date and time.
One more time.
And where can they get more information?
Friday, February 25th, the Malden Irish American Club, 177 West Street in Malden, Massachusetts. Doors open at 7, and all of the information you need you can find on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all social media outlets. Just search UFO Wrestling, and the information is there.
Thank you, guys.
All right.
Thank you.
We'll see you next Tuesday.